right, this is our scenario. Take a second to read that. And these were some of the questions that we wanted to consider when deciding what service model we wanted to use to support our district. We talked about just what profiles are for the immigrant population, what are some services that are mandated, are there any teachers that already hold a bilingual certification, and what training in general do they have? And then this is a table that we found from the Office of Civil Rights and Department of Justice, and these are kind of the hours and the levels for each type of EL student that could possibly be in our program.
So the suggested program model that we came up with was the sheltered English instruction and possibly the addition of a new arrival center. So we would use the new arrival center for students who have just entered into the United States, and we would use the sheltered instruction model for all other programming in the district.
Right, and then from there we want to ensure we have the properly qualified staff. That means what does our staff need in order to meet the needs of our students? Some things that we want to look at are that the local education agencies, or LEAs, must provide personnel necessary to effectively implement the programs. This includes any teachers that are qualified already in EL instruction, any content area teachers that have some sort of EL training, and then any administrators who can properly evaluate these teachers using those standards. We want to be able to provide any PD opportunities for all staff who are interested to stay up to date on all the latest EL research and pedagogies. At the state level, they must ensure that all the local agencies have properly qualified staffing. It is important to constantly update our resources. That is a way to make sure our program is effective. And finally, it's important that the amount of staffing that we have for our EL students is a ratio that ensures its effectiveness.
So to ensure equal opportunity and access to curriculum, we will consider the following. So we will definitely leverage multilingualism and multiculturalism and students' prior knowledge and experiences in the classroom, and really see students' languages and cultures as assets and encourage translanguaging. It is super important to ensure that we are delivering grade level appropriate content while simultaneously working on language proficiency. So it's important to align instruction and assessment to state and KELP standards and to understand the proficiency level descriptors of what each student can do and what teachers are expected to do for students at each level. We will select appropriate materials and resources so that students are seen in their materials, and the materials and resources are appropriate for their English language proficiency level. And this includes adapting text, chunking, adding visuals, and so forth. We will also embed appropriate scaffolds to support comprehensible input and output. Some examples could be to add translation, add visuals, speaking slowly, and that's just a few. We will also strategically plan for collaboration and interaction, because when students are using the language, that's when they are really learning it. Also, it is important to foster independence through metacognitive strategies and other tools. So to teach students tools such as rereading or using graphic organizers, they can use those tools in all of their classrooms beyond the L classroom. It's also important to provide frequent, ongoing, and authentic assessment.
And with that assessment, we also want to evaluate the effectiveness and success of the program. So to do that, we want to make sure that our program is both enabling EL students to attain both English proficiency and parity of participation in the standard instructional program within a reasonable period of time. The local agencies must collect data to monitor and compare performances from current students in the EL program, former students, and also students that were never in the EL program. If the proficiency and parity aren't met, then the program must be modified in some way. We want to make sure that any questions we're asking are thorough and specific, and we want to make sure that we know what standards are being used for our evaluation, and then have the appropriate educational research to support any claims or modifications. And that's it. So thanks. Leave any questions or comments you have on our discussion board.